So everything I've shown you up to this point, you're licensed for, but this part is the PA. I think the official product term is PA Assistant add-on, and you don't have to buy it for all your users, and it's a per user license, and it's not going to break the bank. It's a Happy Meal per person per month sort of price point. But we realize that not everyone's going to go down the natural language experience and the generative AI experience. So we've kind of kept it like a separate license so customers can opt in or not. So just want to make sure you're aware, like if you go back to your desk and try and click on this icon, it's not there, that'll be why it's not. So what we've done is if I click on this, we've added what we call PA, Planning Analytics Assistant. This is based off our Watson X Assistant technology. So Watson X is IBM's AI division, and we're stealing all their cool stuff and embedding it into our solutions. So it's already trained up on planning analytics, so it understands planning analytics concepts and terms, understands what a database is, a cube, a dimension, a hierarchy, a business rule, and so forth. So there's zero coding involved. It's already trained up to understand planning analytics. So when I click on this, I got a series of commonly asked questions, but the main one is around what users use the most is help to understand what can they use this assistant to do. And this is constantly evolving. As I mentioned before, we're on a monthly release. We're fairly early on in our journey in this space. So we released this in October last year. So we're in release 5. And you'll see as I go through the demo in the next few minutes of how it's evolved over those 5 months, and we're constantly adding new capabilities. But effectively what we can do is we can open a cube. I can use it to explore, so I can slice and dice, I can filter a view, I can hide members, keep members, I can create sandboxes on the fly. So the main purpose of this is what we're trying to do is lower the barriers of adoption. So we realize not everyone uses Planning Analytics every day, so they forget what the icons do, what the menus do. So what we're trying to do is deliver a natural language experience where they can just ask questions rather than trying to figure out what this menu does, what this icon does. So here I can create a sandbox on the fly. So earlier I clicked on the view, then I clicked on the spade icon, then hit create sandbox. Just come in here and type in and go create me a sandbox called North, and it will automatically go and do that. I can create charts on the fly. I can create calculations. So these are view calculations. So I can, get the average of the rows or sum up the columns and so forth. And I can copy, redo, and undo. But let me show you what we can kind of do with this. So if I click on any widget, what I want to do is I want to swap my rows and columns around. I want to slice and dice. There's an icon that allows you to do that. I can use my mouse to do that, but as a user that doesn't use the platform frequently, I don't know that. So I just want to come in here and I can type in the word flip or swap, and that's going to go and swap my rows and columns around. Or what I want to do is change that table into a pie chart. So as a user, I would usually have to go up to the visualization icon or menu and then select pie chart and configure it. But now I can just come in here and say switch this to a pie chart, and that will go and convert that table into a pie chart. I don't have to go and find the menus or anything, or I can go switch to line chart, and that will go and convert that into a line chart. Actually, the pie chart was more useful, so I'll just quickly undo that so I can go back. So we're trying to give the user a bit more of a more natural language experience for the platform. The other thing we're trying to do as well is there is a natural bias interpreting data and visualizations and tables and so forth. So we're adding generative AI capabilities to give an unbiased view of what's going on in the data in your visualization. So what the user can do here is say, show me insights. And what that's going to do is going to generate me chart insights. What did I spell wrong? Show me. Oh, I spelled insights wrong. And so this is going to now generate me a natural language explanation of what is going on in this visualization. So it'll give me an overview of this particular chart. It'll give me the statistics, the trends, and it'll give me a bit of a conclusion here at the bottom. But I find the key points tab a bit more, gives me a bit more information. So here will give me key statistics, any trends that it detects in the data, any notable observations that we need to call out to the user, so any outliers and so forth, and then any insights as well within this that we can get from this visualization. We can obviously copy this data and I can put it back into Planning Analytics, or I can put it into a Word document and PowerPoint and so forth. So this will work on all the different visualizations. It will work on the tables as well. So if I come over here, I can highlight multiple rows. And in here, I can do a couple of different things. So I want the system to call out any outliers in my data. So I can just go in here and say, show me outlier analysis. And what it's going to do is going to go scan through all those rows and identify if there's any outliers. So for payroll, there was no outliers detected. If I jump into office expenses, it will identify an outlier here in January. It'll give me a bit of a synopsis of what it's detected. So how many outliers is it detected? Highlight any extreme values, highlight any patterns in my data, and the potential implications of these outliers as well. Again, I can copy this and paste it back. The other thing we're trying to do as well is show the users any relationships within their data within your models. And so to do that, what the user can do is say, show me impact analysis. And so what this is going to do is show me some relationships with my data. And I apologize, I need to work on my demo, but this is the relationships are going to be pretty obvious because it's a chart of accounts, but it'll give you a bit of a sense of what we're doing with it. But I can click on any of those lines. So in this case, I'll click on gross margin, and I can see what's influencing gross margin. So gross revenue is going to influence it 37%, net profit is 29%, cost of sales, net profit after allocations, marketing costs, and so forth. Where we're going to be going with this is looking at if we increase our price, what's that going to do to my volume, or what's that going to do to my customer churn, and showing you the relationships within your data. The other thing we just launched earlier is we can actually create a report on this now. So I can go in, I'll just run from the icon here, but I can run what we call exploration and analysis report. But basically, it's going to sum up all of that into a PDF document. It will give me an executive summary, and then call out any outliers and the impacts of that. So if I click on that report, it'll give me an exec summary of what's going on in that particular view, and then it'll give me the impact analysis, and then show me the relationships between my data. So what is influencing gross margin? What's influencing occupancy and so forth? Any outliers in my data as well, so anomaly detection as well. So creating reports that you can run on your data that will immediately call out any of these outliers and relationships within your data. The other thing we're doing as well is, so let me just reset this database. So on any cell in Planning Analytics, you can right click and trace that value. And so we can tell you how that cell's been calculated. Is it a consolidated value? Is it based off a business rule? To give the users confidence in how these numbers are being generated. So I can right click on any cell. So if I right click on this variance here, I can trace that and see how that variance is being calculated. Now, Planning Analytics can handle very complex calculations. So here I clicked on variance, which is usually just actual minus budget. But in this case, we have a very complicated business rule to calculate variance. I'm not trying to show you that Planning Analytics is a complicated or complex solution. I'm just showing you this because it can handle complexity. If the calculation was just variance equals actuals minus budget, that's what the rule would say, and it'd be very simple to interpret that rule. But we can handle very complex calculations in Planning Analytics. So what we're doing now is we're going to use, we can use AI to explain to a business user what is going on in this really complicated rule. Even for a developer, it would take them a few minutes to kind of explain what's going on here. But what we can do now is if I run it with explain cell using AI, it's going to show us the same information, but now it's going to give me a natural language explanation of what is going on in this rule. So it will give us the purpose of a rule, of a TM1 rule, and it will tell us and it'll break out the rule and how it works. Effectively, what this rule is doing is usually your revenue in your source systems is stored as a negative value. Your expenses are stored as a positive number. And so from a reporting point of view, we want to flip those signs, especially when we're calculating variance, to come up with the right reports and so forth. So effectively, this rule is scanning through, looking at the account dimension, looking at, do I need to flip or sign switch that particular value in calculating that variance? And it's also looking at a calendar as well. So as we go through the year, different months have a different variance calculation. One month might be actual minus budget. 1 month might be actual minus forecast, depending on where we are within the time period. So it's a very complicated rule, but now we can kind of explain that to the user using natural language and how is this being calculated. The other thing is we can then save that as a cell comment as well. And by clicking on that button, it will put that explanation at the cell level as well. So the user can just right click on here, go into the comment, and they can see exactly how the cell has been calculated. And generally, a lot of our customers just go down to the summary here and see how it's been calculated. But we're trying to still be able to write complex calculations, but be able to explain it easily to a business user without them getting confused by these rules. The other thing we're going to be looking at doing with this explain cell as well is there's a transaction log built into Planning Analytics that tracks who changed what, when they changed it, and where they changed that. So that's been available. All of this stuff's been available in the platform for 20, 30 years plus. And now we can bring that to the users. So it's got good information in there, but now with AI, we can bring it to the user's attention so we can tell them exactly how the cell's been calculated and how has it evolved over time. Bob changed this value from here to here based on this date. And then we're going to start using this AI to tell a story of what's going on within the solution.